Welcome, friends. Welcome to today's Reconsider It live stream. Best live stream you're gonna see all day. And here on this live stream, you are gonna get a very nice hour of some improvised beat making on these RC505 loopers. Man, this is gonna be really good. This is really good if you're looking for those technical details. How do I make the beats sound the way they sound? What buttons do I press? Where do these sound effects come from? Helpful if you're looking for some ideas for your own 505. Or whether you're thinking about maybe getting one, you want to see what goes into the beats. So here you go. You're in the right place. We want you here. If you are new to the Reconsider It live streams, welcome! We want Precision joining us. Right now we are in a warm-up phase. Hanging out, getting the blood flowing a bit. I see in the chat one of our regulars, Cornish, has signaled his solidarity, which I'm very much in welcoming reception of. And as we get the blood flowing here in this warm-up phase, my friends, I need to celebrate. I need to celebrate in particular you. Thank you for being here. Whether you are here with us live in the chat, or you are here with us live but you are not in the chat, or you are here with us after the live, watching on replay. However it is that you are here with us, thank you for being here. I'm going to celebrate you at this time in this way. I got my drink. Man, it's going to be so good. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to count up to 3. I'm going to clink the screen. You are invited to join the rest of us as we cheers along and celebrate our togetherfulness. Boy, it is going to be such an exhilarating and fulfilling experience. You are really going to enjoy it when it all begins on 1. Whoa, this count up stuff is really happening, isn't it? Yes, it is. And now it comes 2. Oh, wow. There is a lot of build-up and excitement. I am confident and looking forward to 3. Clink. Cheers, my friends. Oh, man. That's good. That's good. That's very, very good. Please like this video. Please subscribe. I see right now in the chat that Trusto has made it, which is great. Doing a very nice cheers. I like that a lot. And to the degree that we are in a 505 beat making stream, my regulars know what it is, how these go. I'm going to be talking about how I made these beats, or this beat in particular. I built up a little foundation just so we'd have something to enjoy while we're getting warmed up here on the live stream. So I'm going to start by talking about this foundation of a beat. How did I make it? Because I don't have some kind of impressive acapella beatboxing skills. I do not claim to be a good singer in any capacity, but the loopers make it sound good. So how did I do it? Well, beginning with this one, I generally begin with my kicks. And my regulars know that there's a pattern to how I construct my kicks. In the mic, all I'm doing is this. Let me see the there you go. No reverb on. In the mic, all I'm doing is this. I'm going that's it. It's like a throat whatever. But because I have certain effects in the loopers enabled, in this case, I stacked 2 input effects. You can use these buttons here to put multiple input effects. And as I say, the kick here that you're hearing, this has an EQ. It starts with an EQ. The order matters. They go in in the sequence that you stack them. So we got the EQ, which is basically just like tweaking some of the high or low end or whatever. In this case, I turned down the high end a smidge and I turned the low end up a smidge, which is generally what I do for my kicks. This also is passed through a lo-fi, which is what gives it that, kind of grainy feel. Kind of like reduced graininess. That's the lo-fi effect. And that's it. That's how I built that kick. Ta-da! Not much to it. If you're wondering whether you can use one of these loopers to make some beats, the answer is yes. There's very, very little that I'm doing, and I'm giving all of the magic away. So then there's this hi-hat and this clap kind of layer. These, both of them, let me start the kick off. But this like shaker layer and this clap layer, these are both using the same stack of input effects. They're using the same EQ as the kick. I generally, where possible, I like to keep multiple layers, even sometimes across loopers. I like to keep multiple layers having some kind of common element for a given palette. I make a single palette of a bunch of sound effects across both loopers. Oh, by the way, for my musician friends who like to jam along, this one we're doing tonight is this one is tuned to the key of D flat, D as in domino, D flat. Beats per minute is 147.7. In any case, these hi-hat shaker things and the clap layer built out of the same EQ as the kick. I like things to match for a given palette. But then I passed them into a reverb, and you can hear that. You can hear there's some reverb on these. Listen to this. There's a lot of reverb on that. This is just multiple layers of me going like very, very little acapella. You would not be very impressed with my acapella skills. You'd be like, But the loopers make it sound good, which means you can do it too, and you should feel empowered in that way. So you've heard all there is to hear about the drums or the percussion. Generally, that's what I use the lower looper for. That's the original model, the Mark I. The Mark II has way more features, so I use that for all my melodic stuff. But for the Mark I use it for the drums. I got a nice delay I put on this, which sometimes can be a bit much. Sometimes it works really well. In this case, it seems to be lining up well, the delay and the percussion. Usually when I put a delay on my percussion, I use it mainly on the layers other than the kick. Sounds best on those. And then the kick sounds better clean or close to clean. You can put a little bit. You can hear it a little bit in there. Even that's a bit much for me. I could also do my favorite. So that's the percussion. Now we got the bass line. My regulars know that there's a clear pattern in the way I build my basses. I see right now, speaking of basses, that the king bassist himself has joined the building. He's joined the building. He hasn't entered the building. He's joined the building. He didn't join the party. I mean, he did join the party. But what I said was he joined the building. Moses! And also symptoms in reality. himself, also with us. The place is hoppin'. Is a hoppin' place. So the bass. I use the top looper, which is the Mark II, which is the more advanced, not advanced, it's the second generation version. It has so many more features enough. It's like doing 5 upgrades at once. It's incredible how many new features it provides beyond what the Mark I does on the bottom. One of them that the Mark II provides, one of those cool features, is that it has a tuner. As I call it, a snap tuner. That was something that came up in a live stream, and unfortunately I forget who it was that suggested it. I want to give that person credit, but I think of it now as a snap tuner, which just means if you're like, you know, off key, it'll snap you to a key, which is pretty dope since I can't sing. But I can vaguely, you know, get in the loose ballpark of what I'm meaning to express. And the snap tuner makes it sound like I'm, you know, singing a bass line here. That's not me. That's not me having some like really low vocals. I'm just going like do, and the sound effects in the looper make it sound like a bass line. So how did I do it? So that you can try something like this as well. If you're looking for ideas, something to simplify it if you're just getting started. The loopers can be really overwhelming. There's a lot of buttons and stuff. So I'm helping you get some like simple, basic thing in place to start with. So we got the input effects in the top over here. This one has 4 you can stack, whereas the bottom one has at most 3. So top one, really dope. The first effect, as all of my basses, first effect is guitar to bass. So you simply like press the button over here and turn it to guitar to bass. And that's what makes it sound like a bass. It's dropping at the octave or whatever. If you were to plug in a guitar literally and play it, this would make it sound like you're playing a bass guitar. So I just, you know, quote unquote sing through it, sing poorly through it. Makes it sound very deep. Then, that's only the first effect. Then I stack that, or I stack into that, or I stack onto that a electric. Electric is that tuner that I was talking about, that auto snap tuner. Now we know it's a D flat because it's got that tuner. Guitar to bass, electric, and then a sustainer, which I think, was it Warheart? Warheart, were you the one saying a couple of streams ago that the sustainer sounded like a compressor to you? I'm not sure if that was you or Warheart, if that was another person. I see Trusto has indicated that he is lurking and cooking. So the bass line, it's passed into a sustainer. Guitar to bass, electric, sustainer, which I believe sounds like a compressor to someone. It may or may not have been Warheart. And then all of that is passed into a slicer, a step slicer. Yeah. And you can hear that slicer pretty prominently in there. I like having the slicer on. If you see, it may be a little difficult to see in the video, but the 4th button up here, the 4th button all the way on the right, is a pink color, whereas the other 3 are a red color. And the one that's pink is the one that you control with this dial at any given time. And you could change which one is pink. But, I mean, that's how that button works. So you can see, or you can hear it, not you can see. But if you listen to the bass, you see that the step slicer comes in and out dynamically. at different times there's different amount of slicing going on, and that's just doing this. It's just, you know, turn the dial. So again, you should feel very empowered if you're wondering whether you'd be able to do something cool with one of these. And that's it. That's how I did the bass line. Guitar to bass, fed into electric, fed into a sustainer, fed into a step slicer. Then there's this thing. Whatever you'd call this. I don't even know what this is. Some kind of thing of some sort. So what is that thing? I don't know. I don't know what that thing is. But here's how I made it. If you're looking for some 505 tips. Most of these things, by the way, as I described them for this top looper up here, how did I make this? It's this sound I'm talking about right now. This is the instrument. And by the way, this is the one that I stack. You're hearing two loops, two like wave files, literally, of the same instrument. Just like I had the bass instrument, you can build up to 4 instruments at a time in a given saved palette. And so this other one is another instrument of mine that I built into this one. I usually put them both in these, I guess the second and the fourth loops. They flank the bass. The bass is panned to the center. These are panned a little bit to the left. And then the further ones out are further panned to the left and right. Warheart says, this is an underwater trombone. That's a pretty dope description. I'm on board with that. I'm also putting a little bit of, what do I have? Reverse delay on this in the output effects. You can see this one turn pink up here. This button. And there's 4 buttons, but most of them are off. These are all different output effects. So I could put a bunch on at once. Like I could put this reverse delay on and then put this low pass filter. Then I have, what's this, a slicer or something? Yeah, there you go. So you can really stack these output effects. You may notice that the bass does not have any output effects on it. That's because this button here is not orange. You see across the other ones that say orange up here. You probably can't read what the letters say. It says FX, and that just means are the output effects applying on this or not? And in this case, I say no, my bass. But if I put it on, now the bass is affected by all that. I usually keep it off the bass. Not always, but usually. So, how do I make this instrument here? Trusto says this one sounds very Recon-esque. That's good, I think. So this one is built as follows. As an unusual, unexpected turn of events, it is begun with the electric, which is the tuner. That's passed into a tremolo, which you could hear. Turn these off. You can hear a clear tremolo on that. That's the, like, in and outness. It almost sounds chopped, but it's not exactly chopped. That's the tremolo. Sort of like a wavy volume. electric tremolo. That's passed into an EQ, and the EQ has the high turned down a lot, and the low also turned down a fair amount, but not as much as the high. And then that's all passed into a distortion of the type overdrive. So the EQ, I guess, if it wasn't obvious, the electric is the tuner. The tremolo is what gives it that, like, you know, wavy volume level, choppy volume level. That's the tremolo. Then that's passed into an EQ, and because it has the high end and the low end turned down, that makes it have a little bit of a muted sound to it. Whereas this is just me being like, ooh, literally. And this turns it into this cool sound. Electric tremolo EQ to give it a little muting. And then the distortion of the type overdrive. And that's what gives it the, like, edgy, I don't know, hardness to it. There's like a sharpness to it. That's the distortion. So you too can make something like that. Now at this point, oh, and by the way, output effects. I did the reverse delay. I think I said that earlier. Okay. Yeah, because I started stacking them to show you that. Now that you are fully caught up on this this foundation of a beat that I made before the stream began, time has come to add to it. What are we gonna add? Let's see. I sampled these before the stream, but I forget. Oh, okay, yes. So I know exactly which one we're gonna do next. You're gonna like it. At this time, my friends, I'm gonna go off the speaking mic and I'm gonna go play around with this next instrument. Oh, you know what? I need to tell you how it's built first. Here's how it's this new instrument I'm gonna use, because you can save up to 4, and you've only heard 2 so far. The bass and that other, what was it, the underwater trombone. Here's the third instrument. This one I haven't used on the stream yet, and it's built as follows. It starts with a synth, and that one is one that I usually, it's one of the handful that I typically use as my core sound effect, that everything else is filtering upon it. Synth. The synth I use in the same way you might compose a song using some kind of horn, trumpet, a tuba. Maybe not a tuba. But you know, trumpet, maybe, I don't know, saxophone. That's what the synth is like. That's that instrument, that sound effect. So that's the first one that this next instrument I'm going to use is built out of. Then that's passed into an EQ. The EQ is a little bit low on the, or that is to say, it is lowering the high end a little bit. Not that much. 2 or 3 times perceptible level. And then the low end is being reduced about 1 to 2 times perceptible level. Synth, EQ, reverse reverb. This is gonna be dope. And then all of that gets passed into the tuner at the end. So that's this next instrument that I'm going to go play around with, and I'm going to ultimately record some kind of loop with. Let's discover it together, my friends. Let's find out what this dopeness is going to be. Trusto says his pots and pans are still at play. At this point, I feel Trusto. I feel you are obligated to provide a descriptive summary of what you're eating. At this point, you are obligated to share that. Friends, I'm going to go off the speaking mic, as I said, and I'm going to go play around with this new instrument and see what it sounds like, see how it fits in this beat. Generally what I'm doing is the following technique. I got this technique from my producer in Conscious Object. If you haven't heard Conscious Object, you should check out our final album. Conscious Object. This is my, not to go too far off track with the 505 beatmaking stream, but I got feedback that it's okay to do that. But Conscious Object, if you don't know, Conscious Object was my duo. I was the rapper, and my man was the producer. The producer's name was Mr. Bombcamp. He is, he's into like industrial rock and even ska. So his beats are a little on the heavier, harder, even you could even say like moody. That's what his beats are like. And we did a couple of albums together. We did 2 full lengths and an EP. So this was our second full length and our final release. We released this in 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. And there's some really dope stuff in this. One song in particular that's good to search for on YouTube, or I don't know, you can find it on Bandcamp as well if you like to hear the studio version. But the song is called What I Want. That was a really popular one. People loved that. When I performed that live, you wouldn't believe the like audience participation that got. People like walking around the bar all night saying that. Man, that was a very successful song. The song again is called What I Want. The chorus of the song goes, "Give me what I want, give me what I want, give me what I want, give me what I want." That's how the chorus goes. And that's why everybody at the bar would always be like walking around saying it all night. And people who see me perform a lot, you know, that's the kind of thing that they would like once in a while throw out, you know, outside of the bar, you know, not even at a show. If someone sees me, that's one of the things they might say if they see my show a bunch of times. Anyway, the reason I bring this up, I'm going to bring this back to the 505 beatmaking, which is what we're really here for. It's coming back. I was encouraged to go off on the tangents, though, so I'm just exercising what I was encouraged to do. I feel really self-conscious about it. But again, speaking of conscious, again, the album's called Closure by Conscious Object. You can find it on whatever streaming services. It's on, Spotify and whatever. The reason I bring it up is that I was talking about how I make my beats, because I was about to go and use this other instrument. That's why I went off on this tangent. And I was about to talk about my plan, my thought process as I go into exploring this other instrument. And here's what I was going to say. My producer from Conscious Object, Mr. Baumkamp, who, by the way, you should go find his stuff. I know he has an Instagram page. I believe he has a YouTube page. But at least Instagram, and I believe a Bandcamp page as well. Mr. Baumkamp. Literally MR space, the word bomb. Like, oh no, it's, an explosive bomb. Space, camp. Like, hooray for summer camp. Great things happen there. Mr. Baumkamp. He told me the following. One time I asked him about how he makes his beats, because he makes some pretty good stuff. He's remixed a couple of, I would say, larger name artists like Sage Francis and B. Dolan and people in that realm, and a number of other people as well. And they've responded. You watch their, their stream through. They do like a remix contest. And they say, like, hey, producers out there, here's the stems of this song of mine, this, somewhat well-known song of mine. Here's the stems, and whatever other details, like beats per minute or whatever other details. And here you go do a remix. And they have a little, it might be just for fun. It might be a competition so that someone who wins the thing gets to produce a song for them or whatever it was. But those kinds of things that sometimes the more established, larger artists do to engage with their audiences. So anyway, Mr. Baumkamp would do those kinds of remix competitions, and it's always great seeing, or when you can see, the reaction of the artist, and he tends to get pretty good reactions. So his stuff is cool. Anyway, he told me the following. Finally, he says, like, I was asking him about when he layers his beats, and he says that he just tries to make the different layers kind of match each other in some way, or fit with each other in some way. So he introduced me to this idea of having the different layers literally layer on each other. Naturally, I have a tendency to go offbeat. I have a tendency to want my contribution to be something offbeat rather than something that harmonizes along with what's there already. You can hear that already in this kind of beat here. But I aspire to do something more like what Mr. Baumkamp was saying, because it's more listenable, and it ultimately is more slammin', to put it simply. These align with the drums, like this one here. See that? That's me following Mr. Baumkamp's advice. And then there's the other one over here. And of course the bass follows all of that. So that's a little bit of deconstructing how I made this beat so far, and what I plan to do next. Finally, we're caught up. It only took me 15 minutes to take this tangent about Mr. Baumkamp, Conscious Object. You should listen to our song called What I Want. You're gonna like that one. That's a good one. That's a popular one. Now I'm going to use the next instrument. Trusto says he's making some salmon salad. Oh man, that sounds good. I hope you made some for me. Make some for me. I'll have some salmon, please. Is it grilled salmon or some other? Moser also says I should bring it to Popcorn Night. Oh, the song What I Want? I thought I heard they had... Does Popcorn Night not need to be... So for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, Moser and Trusto, along with Symptoms of Reality, the three of them together do a daily podcast, but it's more than just a podcast. And every Friday, they have something called Popcorn Night, where a ton of people who are in the audience/community, a ton of people who, we're all a bunch of artists, they submit songs, and then we just hang out for 2 or 3 hours or more and listen to everybody's songs. And they talk about it, and everybody chats to each other about it. So it's a fun, weekly thing. And I thought, so my question now, this is for Moser and Trusto and Symptoms of Reality. Is it not the case that Popcorn Night submissions are new things? Like something, oh, okay, I just finished this one. Is that not the case? Because if I can submit old things, I mean, I could easily have, something in the low double digits, let's say. It wouldn't be I can't say hundreds. I'm gonna have hundreds of songs to submit. Not exactly. But, a few dozen. That's the library to choose from. I could pick some really old stuff. Moser says old stuff is allowed. Oh, okay. Maybe I will submit that song. What is it? It's already Wednesday? Yeah, I can submit that song. As I look over, I see that lane. And also, in addition, I also see Nick. Hi. 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 Hello. Hey. Hi. I see Nick has added some morbidity into the salmon dish discussion. It reminds me, have you ever been to, I know they do this at Qdoba. I don't know if it might be, I don't know how common it is at other fast food places. But at Qdoba, you can get a a taco bowl. Like the bowl is a big taco, or I guess tortilla is what I mean to say. And you eat it. You get a burrito in it. You get a burrito bowl, but the bowl is an edible, tortilla. Fried, crispy tortilla in the shape of a bowl. I like it, but it has a tendency to if you get beans, then they're gonna make it soggy by the time you get down to them. So you kind of have to eat the bowl fast or move things around and stuff. I hope you're enjoying this discussion about an edible bowl. I plan to perhaps consider the possibility of experimenting with the content that I present you with here on the Reconsider It's Music Sketchpad. And edible bowls. Edible bowls is now on the menu. Oh my goodness. Nick just said sushi hummus. Sushi hummus? What kind of sushi hummus? Wait, what are you talking about, sushi hummus? There's this place that used to have really good baba ganoush around here, but they closed down during the pandemic, and nowhere around here has the same caliber of baba ganoush, and it makes me sad. They had good, everything else too, like hummus, and the pita was always pretty good. There's nice, they always brought you something that was like freshly warm. It's a pretty good place. I have a sad face that they're gone. I wonder if I need to go weep. Should I go weep? Should I go have like an hour and a half of uncontrollable weeping? Should I do that? And like take my pillow and like jam my face in my pillow so that I don't upset my neighbors with how loudly I'm screaming about how deeply wounded I am? Is that how I should handle that? Maybe, perhaps that may be an option. I see Nick says pizza boxes should be edible. Huh. I wonder if that's doable. Alright, friends. The time has come for me to go and add another layer here. I'm finally going to go to the next instrument. We're only 47 minutes in. You haven't missed any new elements at this time. No new elements have been added. All you know is everything about how I built what you're hearing. So let's now get into a new element using this new instrument. Again, you haven't heard it on this stream. It's built with synth, EQ, reverse reverb, electric. So let's get into it. As I explore this new instrument, I'm going to be thinking about what Mr. Baumkamp told me about making it like fit with the other ones rather than going offbeat. I added that last part about rather than going offbeat. That's fine. But keep it, let it fit with the others. Let's see. You may see what I mean when I say I use it like you would use a horn of some kind or brass of some kind. It has that kind of quality to it. Convinced of this yet. I may want to re-record a new version of this with this new horn brass. It's okay. It's okay for now. Nick is acting like a real bro by indicating that he's trying to make me laugh. He likes messing with me and trying to make me laugh. Would it not be a better show? Listen, here's my invitation for your input. Would it not be like a better show, a superior show, you know, moving in the direction of the supreme show possible? Would it not be a better show for me to be like very serious at all times with my arms folded and like as close to expressionless as possible? Are you telling me that that is not the more enticing, energizing, makes you want to subscribe kind of performance? Is that not? By the way, that output effect I'm doing on the drums down here, where I do this kind of stuff, that's like, it's probably my favorite thing. Maybe I shouldn't make an extreme like that, so I take that back. It is among my favorite things. Favorite output effects, that is. So if you're looking to play around with that one, if you have the looper, that's a beat. It's called a beat repeat. So much fun. It's so dope. Nick says, the Adam Jones face. You're talking about the like no expression. Is that Adam Jones from Tool? Is that what you're talking about? Friends, we have one more instrument to do and one more loop to fill. And this one also is one of my favorites, which is again why I hesitate to say it was my top. It's like, okay, it's one of my favorites. So this next one, my friends, this is the fourth and final instrument for this 505 beatmaking stream, and it's going to occupy the final loop. Here's how this next instrument is built. By the way, Nick has just responded and said that when he said the Adam Jones face, he does indeed mean Adam Jones, the guitarist in Tool. Tool was my favorite band, and I don't have any other quote-unquote favorite band at this time. I don't really think in those terms, I guess. But for a while, Tool is like you could say it even an obsession of mine. I like Tool a lot. So if you in some way compare me to Tool in some fractional capacity, I take that as a big compliment. Somebody once told me that I was a perfect circle of rap. And I was like, okay. I will take that as a compliment, which I did, and I still do. Maynard from Tool and A Perfect Circle. If you don't know the name Maynard, he's the vocalist and lyricist in Tool and A Perfect Circle. And his latest group, Pussifer. I was definitely on the level of like much obsession and idolization of his lyrics and vocals and all of that for a number of years, I would say. Tool was definitely an important part of my life for a long time. So if I have some kind of facial expression that resembles Adam Jones and his, I guess I know his face. I didn't know that he was had a reputation for that though. I see Benadryl is Trusto is Benadryling it up, and he's going to bed. That's good. Trusto, you should have a great sleep. What do you think of that? How do you measure the potency of my benediction upon you? You should have a great sleep. I hope you have a great sleep. How's that? That sounds a little better. To me, that's basically a compressor. I think of it as a loudness control, but whatever it is. It's called a sustainer on here if you're looking for the knobs and stuff, the buttons. Synth, sustainer, then passed into electric, which is the tuner, and then passed into a roll. And this is like my favorite thing. One of my favorite things. There's a lot of my favorite things going on. And it's not too different from this other beat repeat that I said. This thing. The thing I'm going to do right now, the new instrument has an effect called the roll. More precisely, it's called the Roll 1 on the top looper, the Mark II. And it's not unlike that beat repeat you're hearing in the percussion. Oh wow. I just saw the Nick says that the A Perfect Circle album Mer de Noms, did I pronounce that right? I think it question mark, I think that's French. I'm not sure. Anyway, Nick says that album, Mer de Noms by A Perfect Circle, was my coping with breaking up with his ex-fiance. That album was a coping mechanism for me. Yeah, for me, that was a lot of what I did in you know, younger years in difficult situations. I just like immersed myself in music. That was how I kind of held my breath and quote unquote got through it. But of course, if you're a regular, you know I recently started talking about like old stuff I've been like repressing. I'm not gonna go into that again, but my latest rap, I should say, Role-Playing Catharsis, is one of the first positive things that's come out of some of my recent processing of all that old repressed stuff. Because I used music back then instead of dealing with stuff. And so now, I'm a live stream artist. Ta-da! That's what I got. And more precisely, I now have got this new instrument to fill in the final loop over here. Synth, sustainer, electric, roll 1. That's what it's called on the looper, a roll 1. Let's do it. Soar also heading out. Goodbye. Thank you for being here. And you've heard this new instrument as well. Reflecting on this beat, I feel I haven't really done, I think, justice to what Mr. Baumkamp would say I should do with the beat. These are not fully aligned with each other. It's a little more like clockwork than alignment. Which, by the way, I got that description once from an interview I read of Maynard from Tool in A Perfect Circle. This was back when A Perfect Circle was newer. I think it might have been their first album, Mer de Noms, but don't quote me on that part. Anyway, it was an interview with Maynard, and the person was asking him, he's like, so what do you say is the main difference between these two bands of yours? And one of his responses, in my paraphrase, was something to the effect of, Tool is more like clockwork, whereas A Perfect Circle is more like machinery. And I believe that's about as far as he went into it, but either I read into it the following, because that makes sense to me since I listened to both of them a lot. Either I read into it and came to understand the following, or maybe I'm recalling wrongly and he said this and I'm just remembering what he said. But something to the effect of, like, the guys in Tool, they write their parts independently, like the bassist and the guitarist and the drummer and the vocalist. They, they work together when writing, but they're all independent authors that do their own thing, sort of. And they come into and out of alignment. If you listen to Tool songs, especially later in their catalog, their songs get very, like, spacious and things move around in weird ways. That's because each of the four guys in the band is actively, kind of like wrestling for his space, even though I don't know if it's necessarily wrestling, but perhaps more cooperative, but nonetheless taking up his space in the song. So that's Tool. It's more like clockwork, where things kind of come into alignment occasionally, but other times might look strangely not in that way. Whereas and it's more organic. You could have like a a wooden clock or something. That's, again, me ad-libbing there. Whereas the machinery in A Perfect Circle, if I recall correctly, A Perfect Circle, at least at the time, this might not be true now, but A Perfect Circle was all written by one guy. Billy, I believe, was his name, the guitarist. And he wrote all the music, and Maynard just wrote the lyrics. But the other members of the band didn't write their parts. Or at least maybe that was true at the time, ? So there's more of like a top-down, everything is highly ordered and structured from one kind of shared goal or guiding principle from a single author. So there's that. Nick says, when I'm listening to Tool, it's more difficult to get things done. Tool is way more reflective, that's for sure. A Perfect Circle is a little bit more well suited for playing on the radio. It's much more listenable. It's much more like, it's not always traditional structure of like verse, chorus, verse type of thing, but it sometimes has that. But whatever it is, A Perfect Circle always, it has this much more like approachable energy to it. Whereas Tool is like, all right, put everything down and just like sit there and think carefully. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for this most excellent 505 beatmaking stream. We have got another very nice and wonderful beat on the books. I make something like 30 or 40 beats a month on these live streams. I save them off. Thank you for being here for the creation of this one. It's so good. It's so good when you're here. I hope to see you next time. My regulars know. We have a selection of different live streams on the menu. Today we were in the upper right, the 505 beatmaking. That's where we build a beat and I talk about the loopers and, you know, the effects that are going into it. Here I built this sound like this. It's really just me going, ooh, but it sounds like this because of this and this and this effect. Plus we go off on tangents during 505 beatmaking. Join us again for some 505 beatmaking. In the upper right, the upper right was a 505. In the upper left, you got Loops and Chill. That's like a show you might see me do at a venue. You see me performing at a bar. I got these really well put together songs. Oh, it looks so well rehearsed. No, man. Loops and Chill is all improvised. The beat, the arrangement, it's all improvised. Building the plane while I'm flying it. Join me for Loops and Chill. In the lower left, we got Unspoken. That's a lot of looper action, all vocals, but I bring in the synth as well. And there's no talking at all. There's not one word from start to finish. It's just the loopers and the synth. And I'll chat with you in the chat if you want to chat, but I won't talk on the mic. Join us for Unspoken. And then we got Tinkering in the Studio. The most completely unstructured. Anything goes in Tinkering in the Studio. Loopers, synth, talk about a lot of stuff, not talk about anything at all. Tinkering in the Studio is totally unpredictable every time. It's the everything stream. Join us for Tinkering in the Studio. And until then, my friends, please have a most excellent rest of your day today. Please let everything come into alignment today. Please let everything come into alignment for you today. And please let your miraculous healing take root today, in you today. Please have all of the rejuvenation and regeneration. Please feel very rested today. Please allow yourself to have a new inspiring vision today. Please allow things to click and see all that might yet be possible today. And I will see you in the next Reconsider It live stream.